Hi guys, welcome back. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking more about calibration of charts. Okay, I'm going to be talking more about how to calibrate your charts. This is a mistake I think many people do, especially for those who want to start trading intraday. This is a mistake you do. Your time zone, your your session does not rhyme with the algorithm. Okay, according to how ICT said, the algorithm works based on session. So I don't know what time frame or what session you're using, but I'll need you to do this. Whether you're trading with your mobile, whether you're trading with um, whether you're trading with your PC, go to this zone. Make sure you set your session. Come to your time zone. Look at this. Make sure your time zone is at New York session. This is very important. It's very essential. You find some of you might find it at UTC or Lagos or whatever, wherever you are, but make sure this is the first thing you do. Put your time session to New York, UTC -5 New York. That's the first thing you need to do. When your time frame is set to New York, you know that now your chart is set to what the algorithm works. Okay, so for those of you that watched the previous video I went about start looking for that module to trade, I do not advise that before you blow your account. I'm not the one that push the button for you. I told you there's still more to that before you start trading with live funds, but some of you went on stubbornly and started trading with live funds. I'm happy I made profit though, but I will not be responsible for any losses if occurred. Okay, so I don't want this video to be a very long one. I'll be checking the timer. Right. So after you set your chart to New York time zone, you should know that calibration of chart can be very skeptical but simple. You are working based on time. You're trading based on time. This trying to combine time and price. Whatever happens on the old data, I use that for my daily draw liquidity for the previous day. Okay, whatever happens on the previous day, what I'm trading is based on what's happening today. But most of you just draw trend lines, chart patterns, mixing the days up and down. I don't even know what you're doing on the chart. Okay, so first I'm going to show you how this algorithm works. This is 15-minute time frame. This is normal time frame for intraday, but you can still go to 5 minutes to look for scalps and entries. Okay, lower time frame to 1 minute. So today started from 14. Today is 14, right? So I'm going to draw a vertical line, calibrating my chart to 14. So you can see this is where today started, right? This is where today started, the 14, just at this line. You can see by using the midnight session is 00 o'clock in the night. You can learn what time it is in your Nigerian time. Sorry, I need to zoom my chart very well. Okay, so this is 5 minutes. Okay, so the algorithm seeks liquidity. You should know this very well. The algorithm seeks liquidity wherever there's liquidity. The algorithm is manipulated to it. And when I mean liquidity, I don't mean the SMC type of liquidity you learn, trendline liquidities, equal highs liquidities, and all those blah blah shit. I'm not talking about the liquidity. Every single high, every low is a liquidity zone. Double highs, double lows, any zone, any low like that, any low or any high is liquidity, and the algorithm is attracted to these zones. Okay, you should know that the algorithm is attracted to these zones. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a very short. This today. This is based on what happened today. So based on the model I taught you in our previous video, you should go back and watch that model if you have not watched it. You are going to be using that model, combining it with this time, so you know when to trade. You know when to look for this exact model. You're not just going about on any time frame, jumping on without knowing your bias. You start trading with life funds. Trust me, you will lose a lot of money if you're doing that, because that module is something you are looking for at a specific time, not just anywhere in the chart. Okay, go down to 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes. This was our opening. I hope you can see that line there. Is it yellow? I don't want it to be too obvious, so that's why I'm making it yellow. There's a yellow vertical line there. That's when we opened, which is Wednesday 14. Alright, so I'm going to use the horizontal line. I think that's the price at which we open. Okay, so that's the opening price. You can see that's the opening price. So I think I'm going to leave it as opening price. Okay, so you can see that right at the right hand side, opening price. That's the opening price. That's the opening price of today. We are not using Nigeria time. We are not using any country time. We're using New York time. So make sure you come here, set your time zone to New York. If you are using mobile, I think you should go to your chat settings. Your settings. I think around in skills, go to sessions, look for sessions, date format, timeout format. I'm not really familiar with the mobile trading view, but I think I've shown you where to do it with your PC. But you can go about and look for where to get the session on your mobile. But on PC, you can just simply come here to this scale. You see time zone, then you set it to New York. Okay, you can go about and find out or search other YouTube videos, or you can check it on Google where you can find the session on mobile. I don't know where that is right now, but make sure you're setting your time zone to New York. That's very important. Okay, setting your time zone to New York. This is intraday strategy. This is intraday ICT strategy. Okay, so I want to break this down into smaller chips for those people that don't understand and add to what I understand about it and how I trade it. Okay, so now at the opening, when once price opens, I think at this time, Nigeria time should be around 6 o'clock in the morning. When once price opens, what happens here is price seeks out liquidity. You should understand that. Price seeks out what? Liquidity. So what is the previous high? I told you liquidities are previous old highs and old lows. It doesn't need to be double. It doesn't need to be trend line. A single high is liquidity. So that's our first high. The 5 minute chart, okay, that's a high and these are low. You can see this small little low here. That's how it works. Okay, let me replay that. Let me use the bar replay. I'm using this bar replay just to teach. I don't really like using it. Okay, I'm using it just to teach. Okay, now look at that. Look at what happened there. Look at that. So this is how I position my chart whenever it's the opening. So note this, that this doesn't work every week, every single day, but you need to practice it, study it to the extent that you know when it's not printing the strategy and when it is. Okay, it's very essential, very essential. You need to study this. This is just the first phase. I'm teaching you how to calibrate your chart. I'm not teaching how this thing works. There are more to it you need to understand. So this is how to calibrate your chart. First, we are looking at the New York opening. So this what we call ICT power of 3. I'm going to make a particular video on that. Okay, I'm going to make a different video on that. Just keep learning. I think in the community there was where I called 18100 today and price went there. Okay, I'm going to talk about that later before the end of this video. So this is my liquidity. This is my liquidity. I'm going to label that. I'm going to label that my liquidity zone. You can see that's my liquidity. That's my bottom liquidity. Because that's what? That's an old high. So those two zones is what I'm targeting. At this point, I don't know where price want to take out first. I'm not talking about those price, but it's how I get my daily draw liquidity. But I'm going to talk about that sometime in the future in a particular video. But for this video, you should look at this. This is our old high. These are our nearest low. You can see this is not just a single low. This equal lows, and to SMC, they'll be looking at only this equal lows. They'll not be looking at that. And this is also a relative equal high. Okay, That's also looking for high. So when price opens, the algorithm does what? It seeks out all these liquidity zones. The algorithm seeks out those liquidity zones. So it's going to either hunt for this low or hunt for that high. Okay, let's see what it does. So price opens, you can see price opens, then it seeks out the low. You wait for price to take out this low, then show you that particular entry model. So you see price take out that low. This was a low, a key low, sorry, a key high, sorry. This was a key high. I'm looking for price to break, okay? But see the tricky thing about it here. This is what makes it skeptical. Okay? Price, look at this movement here. This is exactly what the model, what I taught you in the model, okay? Price broke this high, but did not give any FVG. Was there any imbalance here? No, there was no imbalance. So this is not telling me that I'm supposed to trade. Okay, this is not telling me I'm supposed to trade. Even if it goes well, because I'm looking for longs here, because price have taken out this liquidity and I'm waiting for the module, the simple entry module to print out before I trade for longs. Okay, so if price doesn't give me a clear pattern, I'm not trading. That's one thing about it. That's the discipline you need to discipline yourself. Okay, that's one thing about the discipline you need to give yourself. So you can see price just keeps going up, but did not give us a simple pattern. As time goes on, not now, as time goes on, before you go and rush and do what you are not supposed to do, we are going to be talking about how we can do top down analysis in this particular move here. Just this move where price breakdown and break this, took out this liquidity and break this high. Okay, so for now you don't know what to do here, but I know what to do here on the 1 minute time frame. I know how to pick a trade there on the 1 minute time frame. That's top down analysis. For now you don't know. You're only looking for what? For the module. Now see this. You see, after that low, after that high have been broken, we should go to the 3 minutes. Right? You see there's an imbalance. There's an imbalance. Price treats back to that imbalance. They start pumping. You can see what happened. What you're looking for on 5 minutes is already happening on 3 minutes. Okay, we'll talk about that later. Talk about that more later. So you see on the 5 minutes there's no imbalance. Okay, so with the module I taught you, there's no trade here for you, but for me I can see trade. I'm trying to break this thing down so they can be more understandable. So you don't rush things, so you don't do rubbish. Okay, so if you have to look for entries here, if price printed exactly what you're supposed to look for, and look for entries here, remember your entry at the FVG imbalance, stop loss below the low, and take profit at any first high. So your take profit to be here and price take out this one. I was not my system, this trade played out, but this is what I do daily. Okay, this is what I do daily. I'm not on my system, but this trade played out. I don't enter this trade. Okay, so I remember calling this zone 18100 when the price was just here. I saw this low, sorry, I saw this high, and I called it to the community. I told the community price is going to tackle that place, and the price was just here at 17,700. Okay, so this was the community. I called it. This was it, 18100. I made this. I mined this 18100. Some people made use of it. Some people did not. But later we saw price tackled there. Okay, we saw price tackled there. But my trade missed entry. Right, my trade missed entry. Okay, so that's about the opening. There's still more to this module, this strategy. There's still more you need to understand about this opening price. The next place you're looking for price, to seek out important liquidity is at 8:30 New York time. So you bring your horizontal line. Some of you might have seen this horizontal line on my chart, but you have no clue why I'm drawing them. So this is why I draw them. I outlined my opening price, and the power of 3 I will teach that separately in a different video. And price take out an old low and run to an old high. So next place you are looking for price to do the same thing I did here. What is in 8:30 New York time. Okay, so At this particular point, once you have taken your profit, you don't have any business to do in the chart here. Okay, you don't have anything to do in the chart at this particular time. You're just waiting for price to come to 830. Okay, I don't really like this bar replay, but just for better clearance. Okay, so like that. Okay, so you can see 830, these 5 minutes. Where is the obvious low and the obvious high before 830? The nearest obvious high and the obvious low. You can see this is the nearest obvious low. That's the nearest obvious low. And this is also the nearest obvious low. Any of that should be taken out. But I'm not going to use this as my low. I'm not going to use that as my low. I want to use this low. Right? Not because I've already seen it, but I know why I want to use that low. I'm going to talk about that later. How to react to weak zones that sweeps liquidity. Let me just give you a clue. You can see this zone this week. This week it sweeps out this low, this liquidity. You can see that. Look at that very well. Look at that very well. You can see this low. This week of this candle sweep out the low of this candle. But this candle I have line first as a low. It's not actually a low because it's not sweeping the low of any candle here yet. You understand? It's not sweeping the low of the previous candle. You can see that. So I'm making this my own low. All these candles are things you need to study specifically. Trust me, you need to study them, and this takes a lot of time to build up a module or your own particular strategy. You say, can you use study this and build up your own particular strategy around this? You can go and find out what I'm doing here. It works on forex, synthetics, whatever you're trading. Crypto, I don't really know about other coins, but I know about Bitcoin, and I know I've been studying Bitcoin for months now, and I know how it works very well on Bitcoin. I don't know how it works on forex. I don't know how it works on synthetics, but now it works on Bitcoin because that's what I've been studying. I've created my own particular strategy around it. Okay, so we are looking for price to seek out any of this old high or old low, just like what it did here in the opening. So this is how the algorithm prints. When it reaches this key time in the chart, it seeks out liquidity. You don't just go about looking for trend lines to draw or market structure to mark. That doesn't even work for this trap. Okay, so price seeks out the low first. This is telling me that price is heading. This is telling me that price is heading to that key zone, that daily drawn liquidity I marked in the community, that 18100. Okay, this was telling me that price was heading to that zone. This was the drawn liquidity. This high, I made note of this side. That's the 1800. I called 1800. I called. So when price took out the low on that 830 New York time, I was saying that since it's taking liquidity on the lower side, it's going to rush up. Okay, so we still have FOMC today, and when I see price decline, depends what the chart is saying. Okay, so when I saw this, that was when I got into this trade, but I got a missed entry. You can see this. Sorry, you can see this trade. So this was 830. Sorry about that. So you can see this image here where I was looking for the trade. This was the module I was looking for, and this was 830 where price took out that low. Because you can see, so I'm actually trading what I teach here. I'm trading what I teach here. I got a missed entry. Price will also rush into the large amount of pulling, and I was not triggered. So you can see price took out liquidity on the bottom side here. After taking out liquidity, what happened is I'm looking for that module. Like I said, I go down to the 1 minute to take my 1 minute my execution time frame, but for now stick to the 5 minutes. I'm going to do a video on top down analysis, and you're going to see how I go down to the 1 minute time frame picking snipe entries. Alright, so for now you're waiting for that module, and you can see this is a clear module. I talked about weeks are also high, so you can see this. Some people might be looking for this high to be broken or this high to be broken, but I'm looking at this high to be broken, this week high to be broken. Why? Because that week, if you go to the lower time frame, that week, in the 3 minute or 1 minute, that week is a low, is a high. Sorry, it's an obvious high. You can see that week is an obvious high. Let me check the 2 minute time frame. You can see that week is an obvious and the 1 minute time frame. So you need to understand how to relate to these week zones. Alright, you need to understand how to relate to these week zones. So price broke that high. Did it leave an imbalance? Of course, it left an imbalance. Blueprint every single time. So you don't just go about your charts looking for this module, this simple entry module. There's a specific place where it happens. You need to look for them. Correlating them with time, calibrating your time, it works best. Okay, it works best. Working with time works best. So price took out that liquidity, right, at the 8:30 time frame zone. Remember, you're not doing anything, but the price breaks an obvious high with displacement. So this displacement, this large amount of displacement, what I want to see, because if price does not break that place with displacement, trust me, you can see something coming here, taking out that low again, come out to seek out all these lows that are here, because there was no displacement breaking that low. You need to study this. For those of you that will rush, because some of you without seeing displacement, you want to rush and enter trade out, just take you out, okay, before you start doing something like this. So you need to match these things, go and study them, how they work on your pair, and understand them. So what am I expecting price to do? Price tapping into this FVG, then seeking out this high. You can see that was supposed to be my TP on the chart I sent. You can see that was supposed to be my TP on the chart I sent. So I'm waiting for price to tap into that low and that imbalance, but price did not. I got a missed entry. Missed entry happens. Okay, it happens. I don't just jump into trades. I don't rush into trades. Okay. Okay. Sometimes you'll see missed entry, but it's not really often. But sometimes you see missed entry. Don't rush into trades. Okay. Okay. So I was talking about situations where you get missed trades. Okay. This kind of traps where people rush into trades. They call them FOMO traders. I adopt them early buyers and sellers. You have your model. Make sure you work very well with the model. Trust me, there are some times where you will not see any trade for almost a week. Let me say 4 days, 3 days straight. But that's one thing about trusting a particular strategy that works for you. If you trust that strategy, that's what that strategy wants. That's what you want to see before you trade. Since this week, Monday, I only trade on business days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't trade on weekends. That's how I trade. Even though crypto runs on weekends too, I don't trade on weekends. That's my plan. And since Monday, I did not see a clear trade. Tuesday, I did not see anything to trade. The chart was up there ugly. And today is what I saw to trade, but I got missed entry. That's the discipline you need to get as a trader. Okay, you need to know when and when not to trade, when your strategy plays out and when it doesn't. Okay, so you can at least be joyous that be happy that your trade went as you predicted, but it did not pick you. So I was targeting this the daily draw liquidity 1800. That's what I was targeting, and price ran above it. Okay, price tackled that zone. So when price tackled that zone, there's a particular pattern I used to wait for to see if price is ready to break through or if price wants to reject, right? There's a particular pattern I was waiting for to see that. Okay, so you can see the 1800. There's a particular pattern I want to see. I'm going to talk about that later in later in the video. So this is the high. You can see price reach this high and start consolidating. To me, it's not showing any plans on running above, but FOMC today, the news today at 2 o'clock New York time, 2 p.m. New York time, will let us decide if it's ready to run above it or ready to run below it. So for now, I'm not trading, and I want to draw attention to this one. So once it gets to 12 p.m. New York time, I mark my line again. 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. is what we call the no trade zone. Is what ICT call the no trade zone. Okay, so you need to get familiar with this. You see this zone, you need to label it bold. If you have any running trade and it gets to this time, close that trade, or don't look for trades when they get to this time. There's still more to this module or strategy I will talk about. Okay, there's still more to it. But for now, this is my no trade zone. I'm going to write it there. I don't trade in this zone. 12 p.m. New York time. to 1:30, 1 o'clock New York time. That's 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. This is my no trade zone. So even if I had this trade on profit and it gets to this zone, this particular point, I'll have to close it. No matter where the trade is, even whether it has hit my target or not, I'll close it. I don't trade it because what happens in this New York trade zone sometimes it's more of declining or consolidation. So you might have a long position, and when it gets to this zone, it start declining sharply or consolidating. I don't see that kind of thing. Okay, so when you start looking for trade, just like the opening session, the midnight session, and the morning session, you are doing the same thing here for what? For the afternoon session. That's what we call the PM session. Okay, the PM session. So exactly 1 o'clock. I'm going to do a video about this later, so I think we're going to stop here for this video and I'm going to elaborate on some things. Exactly 1 o'clock, we are looking for another liquidity to be taken out. Okay, so price opens at 1 o'clock, might be declining, it creates a new low, it creates a new high. Remember, there are in some scenarios where you are looking for the high and the low in this in this no trade zone. But in some scenarios, I say you should study this more often. You are looking for the highs and the lows after the no trade zone. That price opens here at the 1 p.m. New York time and starts, maybe pumping or dumping, as we call it in crypto, start increasing or decreasing. Then at that time you are trying to specify where your high or low is. Price run above that low, then you start looking for the model. Price run above that high, you start looking for the model. Study this, don't just go right straight and start doing with your account, in your live account. Study, use them, practice it. It can take you months, weeks, I don't care. Practice it. Make sure you find your own way around this. Okay, so about this daily draw liquidity, I will talk about that later, but for now I'm not going to talk about that because this is what I use as my intraday bias. I use this to know where price is targeting, where price will tackle. And for those of you that have been in the community for quite some time now, you've seen me always outline that thing on my chart. Draw liquidity. I want to see price tackle that particular zone, and prices will tackle that particular zone. So the upcoming videos, I'll be talking about bias, the daily time frame bias, weekly bias, and some other stuff too. There are many modes to this strategy you need to learn. Daily draw liquidities, about the in-depth of this particular strategy, the module, top-down analysis. There are still many more. So just go and study so hard, study hard, study hard. You can see this is what's happening on the daily time frame. You can see I'm marking my highs and my lows based on the 4-hour market structure. Right. So my intraday is from 15 minutes below. 15 minutes below. So exactly 1 that's 13:00 1 p.m. New York time. You are looking for what? Another trade. So I have 3 times so I trade in a day, and it's not fixed. It depends on what the chart tells me. The chart might not give me a trade in the New York opening, but to give me a trade in the 8:30. I might not give me a trade in the New York and the 8:30, but I'll be looking for a trade at the PM session. So I'm not just going about looking for trend lines to draw, mixing them, mesmerizing my chart with different kind of lines or indicators. I have a specific time where I'm working based on the algorithm. I'm working based on what the algorithm is telling me. I'm working based on what liquidities are being targeted. So next, we want to talk about ICT power of 3. We are going to look at intraday at a new perspective. What happens here when price opens till the end of the day? Okay, so there are many modes to this you are going to study. Well, I'm trying to encourage you to study with time. Forget about all these trend lines. You need to, at some point, for you to learn new things, you need to unlearn. Okay, at some point, for you to learn new things, you need to unlearn what was not working for you. All right. Most of you come to, I set a limit order. That's the limit order for my missed trade. So I'm just canceling now since it's not trigger. So most of you just come to the chart and start looking for trend lines to draw. Yeah, this is a trend line and all that. You are intersecting between these. You are not doing what the algorithm is doing. You are intersecting between days, between weeks, between what the fuck are you doing? It works sometimes, it works, yes, but it doesn't have a high accuracy guaranteed. Okay, it doesn't have a high accuracy guaranteed. These are a trade. There are still many more to this for you to understand. But when I wake up in the morning, first thing is I draw my opening with a horizontal line. I want to see where price open. I want to see the price opening, the opening price. I want to outline that. Then I want to see what liquidities are there for price to tackle. If price doesn't tackle any liquidities for that opening, I'm not trading. There's nothing you tell me. I'm not trading. Leave me alone. I'm not trading. You can't force me in my account. Okay. Like I said, since this week, I'm not trading on Monday. I'm not trading on Tuesday. That is the discipline you need. You're not supposed to be trading every day. You trade on what your strategy is telling you. Alright, you're not supposed to be trading every single day. You want to trade every single day, and then sometimes this thing works 5 days in a week, 4 days in a week. You want to trade every single day, sometimes like that, you get wrecked. Right, you get wrecked. Certainly, I'm telling you that you get wrecked. So, wake up in the morning, I draw my zones, I wait for liquidity to be swept. Sometimes to sweep with candles, sometimes it's just a week. So, it took out this equal lows here. Give me that module, but for you're not supposed to trade it because it's not printing exactly what's supposed to be printing in the 5 minute. But if you go down, like the top down analysis, there are still many trades there are still trades I'll take them. But I was doing some other things at this point of time because my own time frame is very early in the morning, so I could not trade that particular trade. I was waiting for the next session, which was the 8:30 New York AM session, morning session. Then I was waiting for the price to trigger my trade and it didn't. I got a big trade. So what next I'm looking at is the PM session. As you can see, it's almost 1 p.m. When you get out of here, I'll start looking for what new highs and new lows and wait for price to run above that. If you run above a high, I'm looking for the module to short. If it runs above the high and there's no module to short, I won't short. Right? If it runs above the low, I'm looking for a module to long. If it runs above the low and there's no module to long, I won't long. So I'm working based on the strategy I've built for myself. You do this for months, you get pasted on your brain. You don't do outside your plan, outside the strategy, okay? You do what your strategy is telling you, what your plan is telling you, and you see yourself making money. So trust me, this thing works. You just need to go there, study hard, find out these things, and give me feedbacks in the community. So in case you're not in the community, check the description of this video and search for the username, or maybe I'll drop the link, and you can join the community later. Okay. So I hope you find this video, this teaching very useful. Until next time, be safe.